Yo, what's up? What's up? So I read this interesting article, and it's basically saying that there was a study done, and they came to the conclusion that it probably makes sense that domestic violence abusers and stalkers should have a national registry, just like sex offenders, pedophiles, and things like that. And you know what? That makes so much sense. Like, these people live in perpetual states of fear because of a relationship that they ended up in, and there's no way that they can possibly leave at the moment because of just the fear of the repercussions. They could literally be dead because this person is so unhinged that if they leave them, and it's not even fair to them, but if they leave them, then there is no telling what is going to happen. Or somebody who's being stalked and like local law enforcement isn't helping, or they're not taking it serious. Like, these people live in so much fear. So what is being proposed is that there is a complex basic system that's put together with multiple agencies, basically, I guess, categorizing the level of threats, and they would have to sign it based off of certain requirements. Like, I believe having two complaints by two different females would be one of them, and there are some others that the actual articles in the description. But what wasn't in the actual article that I wanted to talk about was, so if they have to register, and they talk to the police and this, that, and the other, what about when the police are the ones that are doing the domestic violence? And that might sound like an outlandish thing to say, but studies show that 40% of domestic abuse cases involve officers' families, and that officers' families are 2 to 4 times more likely than a normal family in the United States to experience domestic violence. There is an issue. We spoke about, well, not necessarily we, but as America spoke about the problems that the NFL has when it comes to their blind eye to domestic violence and things like that. We all remember the horrific elevator situation with Ray Rice and the New York Giants kicker Josh Lambo, who apparently had beat his wife up, and just Reuben Foster. The things go on. There's a lot of domestic violence that has come out of that. Now, when Aaron Hernandez head apparently was examined and everything like that, and they found out that he had one of the worst, if not worst, cases of CTE of all time. I think that is a huge contributor to the recklessness that a lot of NFL players can exhibit. It's like we glorify them to go in there to go play like that, but then expect them to, transition afterwards. It's a gladiator sport, but then expect them to be a gardener once they're no longer a warrior, and it just doesn't work in that instance. So they have, I'm not saying a legitimate reason or justification, but at least an understanding towards what could be causing this. But when it comes to police, their jobs are no more, okay, they are more stressful than a lot of other jobs, but they're not the most stressful jobs. But to have such a level or such a high capacity for domestic violence within that actual job, then it seems like there's an actual issue with the actual job and then bringing that job home. So I guess it harkens back to what a lot of people are talking about when it's like we need to restructure the way that we train our police officers. We need to probably start doing a little bit more humanity, a little bit more. I know it sounds soft to y'all so-called conservatives and hard right people or whatever, but they need sensitivity training. They need racial bias training. They need racial sensitivity training. They need to understand that they're protecting people. They're not going to war every day. There's task force for that, but there's no reason that they're going home and having these issues. And yes, that study has been provided for you. So in case you're thinking we're just coming up with, shit for some reason. Nah, we're not. You see, nobody really wants to speak out about these things. Like domestic violence, you talk about it in October, I guess that's the month for it, but that's it. So we're going to make sure that that conversation continues. Because this is a serious situation. There are too many females and there's too many males. There's too many people living in fear that the person that they've given themselves to, their heart, their love, their trust, their soul, their energy, and everything like that, could turn around and just, in all kinds of horrific ways, harm them. Whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, just the abuse that they continue to occur on a daily basis with no way of getting out of it, with no way of anybody truthfully knowing that this person is doing this. And this seems to be like a legitimate way to start attacking this problem. So I'm all for it.